And welcome to day 2 on board Ambience. This is our first and only sea day of our cruise.
So it's going to be quite an interesting experience because no other sea days, so let's get cracking. We're Tom and Dom, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you press that subscribe button and tick that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos.
So our morning started off pretty early for us actually, about 8 o'clock, where we headed down for breakfast.
The Buckingham restaurant is aft of the ship on deck 7. It's quite a nice sort of retro main dining room. There is only one on board Ambience, and it can get a little bit busy, but they tend to manage the queues and waiting passengers pretty well.
Wasn't long at all before we sat down at a lovely table where our waiters quickly served us teas and coffees, and then we chose our breakfast for today.
We had a nice little table for 2 and pretty standard breakfast really. Plenty of juice available, teas, coffees, little pastries they came round with, toast, everything you'd expect for breakfast.
So I had a croissant first of all, and then I had bacon, sausage, beans and hash brown, which was just enough for me today.
The menu's quite extensive with all your traditional breakfast items. I do enjoy an Eggs Benedict, so I thought I'd give Ambassadors a go. It was okay, the eggs were pretty runny, which I quite like, and the bacon on board's absolutely fantastic. It is proper British bacon.
We also had a glass of orange juicy. Breakfast didn't take long at all. We were very quick in there, and it was fantastic service once again.
As we were sailing up the North Sea, we were quite surprised at just how beautiful the weather was, and we took the opportunity to get out on the promenade deck just to have a look at some of those cracking sea views that you get, and it was spectacular.
The weather was actually quite warm.
The centre court is the main focal point of the ship, so we thought we'd have a look and see what sort of activities were taking place there this morning, and we were surprised to find that they'd set up, or they were preparing to set up, some stalls for some demonstrations of some of the activities and events that take place on board. So it's looking like it's going to be quite a busy morning in centre court. We did take the opportunity to grab ourselves a couple of premium coffees from the Dickens cafe bar down on deck 5. Myself and Tom have got the Ambassador Expedition drinks package.
We have.
It's a bit of a mouthful. Ambassador offer 3 different drinks packages, and the exhibition package is the premium package where you can pretty much get almost any of the drinks on board included. What's also great about any of the drinks packages is the daily gratuities are also included. So unlike other British lines, Ambassador do charge a daily fee which varies depending on the length of your cruise. Because we've got the exhibition package, we don't have to worry about those daily gratuities. We sat down in centre court just outside of Dickens and enjoyed a couple of the coffees, and they are really nice.
Really nice coffee. Latte we both went for. Actually, it's that good. I've got one now.
While we were sitting in Dickens, we did notice that the excursion area was getting really busy with passengers wanting to book excursions for the rest of the cruise. Now, myself and Tom have already booked a couple, and we wanted to book one more for Cork. So Tom bravely stood in the queue while I sat there and sipped my latte.
It wasn't that bad actually. Luckily I was near the front of the queue. I picked a bit where the queue was less. I think the queue was there because it was our first and only sea day, and from tomorrow we are in the Orkney Islands. The excursions start tomorrow.
After enjoying our latte and booking our excursion for Cork, we then decided to make our way up onto the pool deck. As we were making our way out, we did notice that there are so many interactive screens dotted around Ambience. So we took the opportunity just to have a little play and see what sort of features that they included. And to be fair, they're quite fantastic really. They've got like an interactive ship tracker that you can just press and find out the location of the ship. There's also a cabin finder. You can type in your cabin and it'll direct you or give you an indication as to where your cabin is on the ship. Really quite handy actually.
So that type of technology is normally only found on newer ships such as the Royal class ships on Princess or the brand new Arvia, which we've been on not too long ago. So well done to Ambassador for having that technology. The weather was actually quite warm. Great to be able to sit at the aft of the ship and just relax for an hour.
After spending an hour or so at the aft of the ship, we wanted to go back down to Centre Court just to have a look at all the stalls that they were preparing earlier. The great thing about Ambience is it's quite a small cruise ship. It's got a maximum capacity of around about 1,400 passengers, and on this sailing there's 1,100, which is quite nice.
It is nice. On the aft of the ship we walked across the main pool deck first before getting into the lift, and what we did notice on the pool deck is that the maintenance team are out and about giving the splash pool a fresh coat of paint, and the ship is looking really well looked after.
In the Centre Court they'd set up a number of stalls promoting all the different venues and activities on board, from the spa to the speciality restaurants.
On board Ambience there were 2 speciality restaurants, Sea and Grass, which offers a set 7-course menu, and Saffron, which is an Indian inspired menu.
And we're excited to announce that we've booked into both.
We are going to visit both, fingers crossed. The spa team had set up a stall there as well, which was actually selling jewellery and sparkly headbands and clips and things like that, necklaces. There was also a stall from the photography team on board selling like memory sticks and postcards and
electronics.
Different things that they could make out of your photographs really. And the final stall was the housekeeping team, which was showing off some of their skills making those towel animals, although we have yet to see one in our room. When
we were in Dickens earlier, Tom spotted speciality teas that came in little teapots, so we had to try one of them while we were in Centre Court.
Now these teapots are glass teapots with loose leaf tea, and also glass cups, which are a really good size cup. For those of you like us who like a good size mug of tea, this is the way to go. We found those fantastic, and the loose leaf tea looks great in those glass teapots.
We did mention earlier that we're on the expedition package, so that just means all of those premium coffees, teas, as well as up to 15 alcoholic drinks a day are all included. But what we have found on board is the drinks prices for those teas, coffees and even alcohol are really reasonable. You can get a glass of Prosecco for £3.50, premium tea, premium coffee for £2. So comparing that to other lines we've been on, it's incredibly good value.
After our energetic stop, not so energetic stop in Dickens for a pot of tea for 2, we then headed back to the Buckingham restaurant for lunch.
There wasn't a queue. We pretty much got right to the front, and maitre d' of the restaurant just basically directed us to a table, which was absolutely fantastic. It was quite quiet in there. Lunch is served on sea days from 12 till 1:30, so I think the vast majority of people might have been using the Borough Market buffet.
The lunch menu looked really tasty. So to start, I had the lentil soup. Didn't look appetising, but it tasted fantastic.
For my starter, I opted to have the fried vegetable bhagia, if that's how you pronounce it, and it came with a little bit of yogurt, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Yet again, you could eat a whole plate full of that starter, couldn't you? Same as yesterday.
Spectacular.
Then for main, I had a pasta with some fried turkey and sauce, which was very tasty. Really enjoyed that buttered pasta.
For my main, I opted to go for the Monte Cristo sandwich that came with a side of chips, and it was, really nice.
And then for dessert, I had the best thing of the whole meal, a super tasty apple crumble.
I had a little bit of a taste and I did go, wow.
Wow.
For my dessert, I opted to go for the cheese plate. Really quite generous portions of cheese, a couple of crackers. Usually I'd like a few more crackers, but overall really nice.
Good thing is that you know for next time that you could always ask for extra crackers, and with the team on board there'd be no problem sorting that out for you.
We had a couple of glasses of wine. Tom went for the signature white and I went for the signature red, which was quite nice for lunch.
Yeah, I think they said mine was a Sauvignon Blanc. Beautiful wine.
With the signature wines, it doesn't actually tell you what wines they are. They just say signature red, white or rosé.
At the end of each meal they do offer you tea or coffee, but me and Dom tend not to go for that. After lunch then it was time for something we'd been looking forward to all day, so we headed off to the Botanical Lounge and got a seat pretty early, because you need to be there early for the vignette. So
this was a 10-15 minute production and it was absolutely fantastic.
We've never seen anything like this on a ship before. It was a 2-person production, a show, a play even, delivered in a small space by 2 actors on board, and it was fantastic. It was hilarious. The name of the vignette was Not So Innocents Abroad, and it was a tale of 2 Georgians doing the grand tour, and it was fantastic. I can't say how good it was, and we've never seen anything like that with pop-up actors in full costume. It was great. So if you get chance to get on board Ambassador, it's worth it just to experience these little vignettes. They are fantastic.
As we're on for a few more days yet, they did say that they're going to pop up a few more times during this cruise, and we'll definitely go and see them.
After experiencing that fantastic vignette in the Botanical Lounge, we headed across the ship to the Purple Turtle.
This afternoon they were doing a 10-question trivia quiz, and myself and Tom do like to take part in the trivia. We managed to find a table, we picked up a pad and a pencil, and we sat there and enjoyed the quiz, and it was really quite fun.
It was based on
musicals.
What they did, they played a clip from the musical and then asked a question that was related to that musical, not necessarily about the musical itself. And we did okay. We scored 6 out of 10.
It was reasonable.
Reasonable.
Those of you that regularly watch our vlogs and our channel will know that when we're cruising, we do love a late night buffet. Now, unfortunately, on Ambience, there is no late night buffet. Instead, what they do between 11 and 11:30 in the bars and venues around the ship, they offer appetizers. In order to sort of prepare myself for not having any food, we thought, right, let's go up to the alfresco grill on the pool deck and order some pizza.
Yeah.
Because I quite like cold pizza. Take it down to the room, and then I've got something to eat when I get back. Even though we are sailing a British Isles cruise, it's still open. So we managed to order a few slices of pizza, and we sort of took them back to a room because we needed to get ready for formal night.
Yeah, so we took some time in the room. We got ready and headed out to Centre Court to take a couple of pictures in that fantastic space that Centre Court is.
It was nice to see that the vast majority of passengers did participate in formal night, and everybody was looking spectacular, including ourselves.
On board, it is quite a formal ship, and we did wear our tuxes for Ambassador night. Once we'd been in Centre Court for a while, we headed down to the Buckingham restaurant once again and were seated at our usual table.
On Ambience and Ambassador, it is first and second sit-ins. There's no freedom dining, and you're given a table for the duration of your cruise.
For our sit-in, we had the late sit-in, which is at 8:15 p.m. We arrived there promptly on time and were able to sit down straight away. For our Ambassador night dinner, we had an appetizer to start. I was feeling like trying something new, so I tried the duck to start. The duck came with this fantastic red berry sauce, and it was really, really tasty.
I chose to have the cheese souffle, and it was really quite nice. It could have been a little bit stronger cheese tasting, because I do like cheese, but it was actually quite nice, some really nice souffle.
After our appetizer, we then had soup. I had a wild mushroom soup, once again, fantastic. The soups on board, as everyone knows, I love soup, has been really, really good so far.
I opted to have the double consommé soup, and yeah, it was nice and tasty. I'm not a lover of soup, but I enjoyed it. It was very flavoursome.
I skipped the next course, but John went for it and he had a salad.
I did have a salad. I went for the parmesan and pear salad, and it was beautiful. You've got to get your vitamins.
For my main course then, I went for, once again, duck.
Yep, so you had a double duck night.
double duck tonight. This duck was super tasty. It came with a savoury scone type of thing, which was quite unusual, but I really, really enjoyed it. Red cabbage and some green beans as well.
And for my main, I opted to have the beef Wellington, and it was absolutely delicious. It came with a baked potato that had been filled with mashed potato, and it was beautiful. I do like a good beef Wellington. My only criticism, they didn't ask me how I'd like it cooked. I think it just comes out as standard. Yeah. It was beautiful, but it could have been a little bit pinker.
But as you said, it tasted beautiful. Now, on to dessert and the chocolate. Ooh. I had a fantastic chocolate lava dessert, and oh, it was tasty. Chocoholics, you would love this. As you cut into it, you could just see that chocolate oozing out. It was wonderful.
And on the menu this evening was a cherry trifle, so I had to opt for that, and it was okay. It wasn't the best trifle I've ever had, and there was a little tiny amount of cherry in the bottom, but it was okay.
With our meal, we also had a couple of glasses of wine each. This time we both opted for the signature red.
After a really good meal in the Buckingham restaurant, we made our way across the ship and up to deck 8 to the Purple Turtle for their take on the Wheel of Fortune.
So their game show was called The Wheel. It worked just like the Wheel of Fortune that you've seen on TV.
As we were in a late sit-in, we only caught the end of the wheel, but it did make us chuckle. It was hosted by the assistant cruise director, Dave. It was really, really busy in there actually by the time we got there.
Yeah. Dave is really funny. He makes us laugh all the time. He's a great assistant cruise director.
From the Purple Turtle, we quickly hurried to the main theatre, the Palladium Theatre, for tonight's production show of Enchanted Garden.
Now this was a musical review type show which featured really good costumes, great theming, and the singers and dancers put on a fantastic show. It was very much a musical review show, so little to no story, but the numbers they put on and how they put it across was fantastic.
The theatre wasn't too busy, I think, because the vast majority of people may be on the first sit-in for dinner and then they go to the first performance. It was still fairly busy in there. The unique thing about the Palladium Theatre is how the stage comes out and you can sit all the way around.
So the seating is a horseshoe shaped seating really, so you're wrapped around the stage and you've got a great view from wherever you are sitting, and it's 2 levels as well, so you can always sit up in the balcony and look down onto the performers as well.
Overall, absolutely fantastic performance. The production team on board are incredibly talented and we thoroughly enjoyed their performance this evening.
From there, we quickly headed up to the observatory.
We heard on board from other cruise passengers, some who this is their 3rd Ambassador cruise. If you put that into perspective, Ambassador has only been in operation for 12 months. And some people have cruised on this ship 3 times already.
High praise really, isn't
Absolutely. And they basically mentioned that this ABBA cabaret show, performed by the production team as well, so they've done 2 shows plus this ABBA cabaret in the observatory. It's supposed to be the busiest and most popular event. And when we got up to the observatory, it was absolutely rammed full of people.
So we were in the observatory last night on embarkation night and it was much, much quieter. Tonight there was not a seat available at all. So you can see why people from the early show really wanted to get there to catch this ABBA cabaret, because it was fantastic. And I've never seen so many people up on the dance floor so early into a set. As soon as I think the first note of ABBA was on, the dance floor was full. It was a really, really good night. That same team who put on the Enchanted Garden production show, really just minutes before, were up in the observatory lounge putting on another show for us. So it was great. It was really, really good. Whilst the ABBA performance was going on, we were also offered those appetizers that we spoke about earlier, and they're offered between 11 and 11:30 every evening on board, in all the lounges, and they are great to have just a little snack to keep you going.
Once the ABBA cabaret by the production team had finished, it did get much quieter up in the observatory. DJ Ryan took to the decks and was playing a few tunes. We managed to get a nice seat in front of the main dance floor and ordered a few different cocktails.
Yeah, so I was drinking a strawberry daiquiri tonight, and it was really nice because I did try and get a Cosmo, which is normally my go-to cocktail, but they didn't have any, which is a little bit disappointing. After enjoying the music from DJ Ryan in the observatory, we headed across the deck, and it was a beautiful night, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
Clear sky, almost a full moon. The deck was lit up beautifully. The water looked spectacular with the moon reflecting off it. Really nice just to have a walk across the deck.
It was a bit breezy, but it was well worth it for those views because it was beautiful.
We headed then to the buffet for those 24-hour tea and coffee facilities, where I grabbed myself a cup of coffee and we took it back down to the room.
So earlier on we grabbed a couple of slices of pizza from the alfresco grill up on the pool deck, thinking we'd be able to have a nice midnight snack before bed. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well.
That pizza wasn't very good, was it?
No. So we're going to have to come up with another plan.
Yeah, it didn't feel like the cheese was even melted on it enough.
Yeah.
I just don't think the alfresco grill is in demand enough, so it's cooked to order, and it didn't seem great, did it?
No. You can order 24-hour room service. So that was the end of our first full day on board Ambassador Ambience.
Yeah, and our only sea day off the cruise.
Only sea day. It's going to be a very port-heavy itinerary. Tomorrow we're in the Orkney Islands in the town of Kirkwall. We're really excited because we've never been before.
It's going to be an interesting day because the weather's meant to be a bit hit and miss. Tune in to find out whether we've got our t-shirts and shorts on, maybe not in the Orkney, but or our rain jackets.
Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments or questions, just pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hit that bell button to never miss a video from us.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.